Hey everybody, it's Jeff here once again with Entrepreneur Essentials here at T-Werx. And I'm sitting here with my friend Bob Hannabery of Allied Consulting. Just so that you know, Bob is my bookkeeper slash QuickBooks expert here with T-Werx, and also works with us in my financial practice, BK Wealth Consulting. So you're going to get a lot of good advice today from somebody that's got a lot of experience both as an entrepreneur and also as a QuickBooks expert. So with that, Bob, tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. How did you get started as an entrepreneur?
Well, when I graduated from college, I had a teaching degree in science, and I would have loved to teach high school science. It was in 1972 that I graduated, and in the midst of the Vietnam War, and there were no teaching jobs available. So I had worked as an electrician, I should say, during college and a little bit of high school. So I thought, well, let's do some electrical work, and started my first business 6 months out of college. And that business grew, started with just wiring, mostly new construction, residential wiring, and grew into heating and air conditioning along with the electrical work. And that business grew to a point by late 1990s, we had about 100 employees. And it was a sizable business. It's still running today. Sold that to my partner, and started a home inspection business. And I thought I had died and gone to heaven because now I said, you know, all I have to do now is find the problems. I don't have to fix them. And so we spent about 15, 16 years in the home inspection business, and started as a one-man operation, just like with the former business, and built the reputation, hired some employees. That one wasn't nearly as big. We sold that business when we had about 6 employees. Sold that one to 2 of the employees, and they're still doing very well. And that was, both of those businesses were in Pennsylvania before we moved to Texas. So as we were getting ready to move to Texas and we had sold the home inspection business, I began thinking, well, what am I going to do when I get to Texas? And home inspection was what I was good at the time, and I thought, well, I'm not sure that crawling around in attics in Austin is such a great idea.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah. So set that aside and said, no, I don't want to do that. But sort of as an offshoot of the home inspection business, this was back late 90s, and QuickBooks was the bookkeeping system that we used in the home inspection business. And you know, in the previous business, it hadn't been invented yet, so we used another bookkeeping system. But in the home inspection business, I used QuickBooks from version 1, and liked it, enjoyed it, and you know, that was our second business that we started, and I said, well, you know, I'd like to help other businesses get started and be successful and profitable, and this is a way that we can do it. So spent about a year obtaining or taking all of the courses that Intuit offered, the publisher of QuickBooks, and got every certification that they offer. So became Advanced Certified in both QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online, and started this business in May of 2014.
Mhm.
So that's kind of been my journey.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So talk a little bit about how you typically work with clients. What are some, what does your service profile look like?
Well, we have essentially two aspects of the business. We have a consulting component where we will consult with people and advise, do business consulting and bookkeeping consulting, and then we will also do the full charge bookkeeping if that's what the client needs. If they just want to make sure that their QuickBooks is set up properly and have some training in how to do the work, then we will do that. We'll do the training, we'll do the, maybe just fly oversight and check in with them periodically, make sure that, they're still on the right track. So that's basically the way we work with our clients.
What are some of the challenges that you see when it comes to a new business owner, especially a startup business owner? You're strapped for cash, you're trying to figure out how to get the business up and running. What are some of the challenges you see from your world?
Well, and having been there, myself,
A couple times, yeah.
I know the challenge of being strapped for cash, and the inclination is to do everything yourself because it's cheaper than hiring somebody to do it. And unless you are an accomplished bookkeeper or an accomplished QuickBooks user, you will spend a lot more time than you should have to, and you will make a lot more mistakes than if you had just hired somebody to help you at least get it started right. One of our early clients, Kay, from Kay's Kitchen, wrote a review for me for the website and said, "I wish I had hired Bob when we first started the business. It would have been so much cheaper."
Yeah. And she was, I think at that time, was about a year into it?
Yeah,
and you had to work a year backwards to fix all the problems. So.
And it was, they did the best they could, but kind of, my mantra is sort of do what you're good at, and let other people do what they're good at. And unless you're, good at something, and you get in the business because you love your trade or your profession, you're a great painter, you're a good doctor or any other profession, that's what you're good at, and that's where your passion is. It's not in bookkeeping. It's not in that side of it. So hire the professional to do the bookkeeping and the accounting and the legal and all those pieces that you may be tempted to do yourself, but in the end, it really is cheaper to hire a professional to do it for you.
Sure. Well, and what I've said all along, working with Bob, one of the benefits that I love too is, Bob started 4 businesses effectively in his life. So you get a little, beyond a typical bookkeeper, you get experience that you just can't get from anybody else.
Kind of I tried that and it doesn't work.
Yeah, that doesn't work at all. Yeah, no, we've had many of that discussion. No, I wouldn't do that. That's crazy. So, that's the type of, I think, that extra service. So what's new in your world with Allied Consulting now? Well,
we have been attending a lot of professional seminars and being coached by other business coaches, and the recommendation for the past couple of years has been to specialize or to find a niche, narrow your practice, and again, do what you're good at, do what you're best at. And at one of the conferences I went to, the speaker was a QuickBooks ProAdvisor, and she worked with law firms, and she only worked with law firms that used QuickBooks Online and a specific front-end legal package called Clio, And that was her niche. You know, she said, I will only work with attorneys who use QuickBooks Online and who use Clio. And she was criticized by her peers for not being specific enough, not being narrow enough. And they were telling her, no, you should narrow that down to one piece of legal practice, you know, family law or business law or litigation, you know, narrow it down even further. Don't just say all lawyers. So that's what's changing in our business, I guess, is you know, we're trying to narrow our focus, and we're saying we work well with contractors because I have the contracting background, and the clients have been helping me to do that because for whatever reason, divine intervention probably, we've been getting a lot of people come to us who are remodeling contractors, who are real estate flippers, and that seems to be becoming our niche. Now my wife, Joanne, is also an Advanced Certified QuickBooks ProAdvisor, and she only works in QuickBooks Online. I work in both desktop and online. Well, QuickBooks Online is somewhat limited in what it can do, especially in the areas of job costing and inventory control and payroll and things like that. It works well for service type businesses, but it does not work well for contractors and businesses that need those areas. There are third-party apps that can be added to it, but by and large, desktop is a better platform for those type of businesses. So that's kind of where our business is going. Joanne works with the QuickBooks Online clients, and they are mostly service type businesses that don't have job costing or inventory or anything like that, simple payroll. And I work with the more complicated contracting, remodeling, and real estate businesses.
Awesome. Very nice. So, fast 5 questions now.
Okay.
There's always the challenge. So you wake up in the morning, business is totally gone. You have $500 in your pocket. You have clothes on your back, place to live, food to eat, a laptop computer. What would you do first?
I've actually been there.
Okay.
Not quite that severe,
yes.
But I don't know what the answer would be at this point. I can say in general, do what you do best. So do what you can be most effective at most quickly. Now, obviously, in this situation, from where I am in my life right now, I would go look for more bookkeeping clients. If it had been 20 years ago, I would go look for more home inspection clients. And if it was 20 years before that, so it's kind of like, where are you coming from? I don't know that there's a single answer for everyone that's the right answer. But I think the easiest, or the one thing that is universal, is do what you're good at.
Yeah, and do what you enjoy.
Yep.
Too. You have a reset at that point.
Yep, that's right.
What's your biggest entrepreneurial mistake that you've made?
I think that is, I know it happened to us in the home inspection business. We started that business, as I said, as a one-man operation. Did a lot of marketing and a lot of talking to realtors and built a good reputation, gained a lot of trust from the realtors and other people in the real estate industry, and we climbed very quickly to become probably the premier home inspection company in the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania at the time, and we were on top of the world. We had more work than we knew what to do with. I hired 3 or 4 employees, and we were very busy. At the same time, we allowed the marketing to slide? Why do I need to go out and do more marketing when I'm so busy I couldn't take another job if I wanted to? That was my biggest mistake. Because what I learned was that even though you're on the top of the hill today, there are others that are climbing up that same hill that you just climbed, and they have a lot more vim and vigor, a lot more reason to get out there and fight for the next job. And we noticed, much to our horror, that we were starting to slide down the other side of the hill. And we weren't quite as busy as we had been before. And I asked some of our realtors, well, you know, what happened? Don't you like us anymore? Oh yeah, but John just came into the market here, and and that was an eye-opener for me, is that you can never stop marketing. You may do more or less depending on your workload, but you can never stop. And that's probably the biggest mistake that I made. I've preached that to clients and friends, and now I'm finding myself in that same situation again, because, as I said, we're becoming very well known in the contracting and remodeling area, and we're very busy to the point where I'm telling people I'd love to help you, but I need to, you know, I won't be able to do it for a month. I won't be able to meet with you for some time. And the inclination is to stop going to chamber meetings and stop networking and stop doing all the things that got us where we are now.
It took quite a while too. It was not right away.
Yeah, and it is. It's a lot of tough work in the beginning, a lot of networking, and a lot of work. But and then, like I said, you tend to reach that point where it's comfortable and you're busy and you have all the work you need. And don't make that same mistake again. Don't stop marketing. You need to keep marketing. Again, like I said, maybe you want to throttle it back a little bit, but you can't just
with
stop.
staying top of mind. It was just like your realtors, that had you just stayed top of mind with them and just reached out to them a little bit, you would have still been on their mind. And
Yep.
so what is a good book that you would recommend for an entrepreneur?
Well, I'll date myself and say the E-Myth. That was a great book. Read it a long time ago. Probably should read it again. But I think a more contemporary book that I've read and enjoyed is The Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz. I've met Mike several times. He's been speaking at several seminars that we've gone to, and but that book just made so much sense to me. And essentially what it says is that most farmers will, who are trying to grow pumpkins, will treat them all the same. They will fertilize them and they will water them, and even spend extra time helping the weak ones come along and bringing the runts of the litter up so that they can all be mediocre. And farmers who grow gigantic pumpkins for competition and contests and whatever do exactly the opposite. They focus on the strongest of their crop and let the others die. Let the others go away. So the business implication for that is focus on your best client, your best clients, and be the best you can be for those clients, and they will send other clients like them to you. And don't spend time working on the weakest and the ones that are not a good fit for your business, and will pull you down so that now everybody's mediocre. Focus on the best. And that book made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it's one that you can, and it's a fast read.
Oh, it
you can
is.
read it
Yep.
in a weekend line. He's a very funny and good writer, so it's enjoyable to actually read. And I've even listened to it on tape, and he's hilarious in
Yes,
person
he is.
and on
He
tape.
is.
So Bob, what's a good tool that you use in your business that would be recommended for an entrepreneur?
Well, this probably sounds too obvious, but
Mhm.
my computer.
Yeah.
I started with an old laptop computer and have upgraded it to a desktop with
Okay.
all the power and bells and whistles, and upgraded my internet service. But that's the nature of our
Mhm.
business. Is we're online 10 hours a day, and we need speed and
Well, but I think the cool thing with you is Joanne and his wife Joanne and Bob, they love camping. Well, you can take your business with you. That's why, as long as you have a reliable internet connection, you can be working on books and be in the nicest place around.
Yep.
Camping.
Yep, we do that.
So, Bob, how do our folks get a hold of you here?
You're going to yell at me. I don't have a website.
I know. I've tried, folks. I've tried.
A lot of our clients come to us through Intuit has a Find a ProAdvisor website.
Mhm.
And a lot of our clients will find us that way because we're Advanced Certified, have good recommendations, so we rank pretty high in that forum. So most of us come there. Most of our clients come to us from that, or word of mouth. So those are the two big ones. But Find a ProAdvisor. If you do a Google search on that, you'll find the website. I'm not sure what the specific URL is, but that and LinkedIn
Okay.
are really the two ways that we reach out. Obviously, we have phone numbers and email, but that's
Excellent. Well, then find a ProAdvisor and look for Bob at that point. So, Bob, thank you very much.
Jeff,
As always,
my pleasure.
appreciate you coming in. Folks, I highly recommend him if you, even if you just want to sit down and just talk through something, I highly would recommend it. Bob helped me immensely as we started this business to just think about how to structure it, and as we look to expand, we had a meeting the other day with the CPA that we work with to just walk through that. It's important to have your financial team in place. I mean, I've been in the finance business for 25 years, but this is not what I do. And so having your financial team in place, I cannot tell you how important that is for making sure that your business survives and thrives. If you don't know what your numbers are and you're not on top of that, you will die a miserable death.
That's true.
Many have. So thank you very much once again for coming out. If you look down below, actually Bob, over here is our subscription button. Make sure that you subscribe to this, because we're going to be pushing more and more video out here over the next few months. I've got a surprise coming up after the beginning of the year, which will be Jeff's book club. And I'm actually going to go back through the last year of these videos that we've done, pull the books that people have recommended, and do a quick little Jeff's Notes version of that book. Cool. So that you'll have something to, quickly understand a few quick concepts. So be looking for that after the beginning of the year. But thanks, Bob, for coming out, and we will see y'all here next week.